Hi, I'm Dr. Abe. I'm an MD and cannabis health coach, and I'm here to answer your questions and tell you what you need to know about Delta-10. Delta-10 THC is an intoxicating cannabinoid that grows in almost zero quantities in cannabis. Since it's a very rare form of THC, the Delta-10 products that you buy online are going to be made in a lab as either a fully synthetic or semi-synthetic product. Often, this process involves taking CBD and putting it through a series of harsh reactions until it becomes Delta-10 THC. This newly made, concentrated Delta-10 THC is usually packaged into cartridge-style vapes, edibles, or can be sprayed onto hemp flower. There's a slight structural difference between Delta-9 and Delta-10, and that causes Delta-10 to have different effects. Most notably, you'll have a much gentler high than with THC. To date, there aren't any clinical studies done to show the exact effects of Delta-10 THC on your body. This means that we can't accurately determine what the full set of effects are, and we can only estimate its effects based on what we know about its closest relative, Delta-9. The only direct evidence we have is from an early study in 1988 by the late legend Dr. Ralph Micholem, which shows that pigeons got less stoned off Delta-10 than Delta-9. I'm sure those birds didn't know that outside of a lab, they'd be committing a federal offense. People also experience euphoric and psychoactive effects, so we assume it works in nearly the same ways as Delta-9. By that logic, Delta-10 may offer similar benefits for pain, muscle spasms, sleep, anxiety, and nausea, but this is still just an educated guess at this stage. As far as we understand, taking Delta-10 may feel like taking Delta-9 THC, but at a lower dose. This means that you can expect mood-boosting intoxication along with similar effects like feeling more hungry, less stressed or anxious, and relief of existing pain or nausea. Just like Delta-9, the way that you take Delta-10 also makes a difference in how strong or long you feel the effects. For instance, inhaling Delta-10 will cause a mild high for around an hour or so, but eating Delta-10 gummies can accentuate these effects and make them last for up to 4 or 6 hours, similar to Delta-9. If you take Delta-10 THC, you'll definitely feel high, and that's because this cannabinoid is just another variety of psychoactive THC, and it functions very similar to the Delta-9 THC in cannabis. However, it's anecdotally estimated to be around half as psychoactive as Delta-9. We need more scientific information to determine exactly how a Delta-10 high differs from taking Delta-9 and what the risks may be. It also partly comes down to the manufacturer and how careful they are when making or testing their Delta-10 products. Online retailers aren't regulated like dispensaries, so you always have to double-check the quality of every product online by looking at the lab report called the Certificate of Analysis, or COA. That tells you about its purity and contaminants. One thing that's important to note is that not all contaminants may be known or checked for. The process of making Delta-10 is messy and can result in unknown cannabinoids and byproducts that can have other health effects. As far as side effects go with Delta-10, you can expect them to be temporary and very similar to Delta-9 THC, but less intense. You can first expect to feel giddy, intoxicated, and probably a little hungrier too. It is possible to take too much Delta-10, and if that happens, you could expect a fast heart rate, dry mouth, dry red eyes, dizziness or lightheadedness, or feel sleepy. Remember that we don't have precise human research on Delta-10, or the exact product you're buying, so there may be unknown short-term, long-term, and pregnancy-related health effects. If you take too much, you could also feel anxious or panicky for a short time. Delta-10 is metabolized like Delta-9, and so it could interfere with the breakdown of many substances. This includes things like alcohol and common prescriptions like anti-seizure medications, blood thinners and beta blockers, antidepressants and anti-anxiety meds, antipsychotics, steroids, and more. The most common clinically significant interactions are between THC and anti-seizure drugs. It can also make alcohol and sedating medications feel stronger, so don't take them with your Delta-10. Keep this in mind and ask your doctor if you take these medications or have any health concerns before taking Delta-10. If you're a casual, recreational consumer who wants a lighter or different experience, or you live somewhere where you just don't have access to Delta-9 but still want psychoactive effects, then Delta-10 is at least available. You shouldn't take Delta-10 if you plan to drive or work on heavy machinery, are pregnant, or breastfeeding. Also, you should store this type of product away from children and pets because it can be dangerous for them. Basically, take the same precautions as you would with cannabis. If you've used Delta-10, let us know about your experience in the comments. Or if you have questions about Delta-10, write them in the comments section and I'll try to answer them or point you in the right direction. For more information on Delta-10, visit the link in the description.